Right guys, this is mental. I can't believe I'm saying this, but couldn't have written this any better. Double take. If I can lift it up, I'm going to show it to you guys. What a way to end the session. Look at that. Oh yeah. Here we go. Oh mate, it'll be fine. Right guys, we're just getting off the ferry after a 3-hour crossing over to Cherbourg in France, and we're on our way to Etang Du Manoir. Woohoo! So if you saw my last video, I did 48 hours at Bearfield Blue Pool. Caught a new PB common, so make sure you go watch that video. I'll link it down below. And I had another nice 23.5 pound mirror as well. But it's Sunday now, and we've just arrived in France. So we've got, I think it's 2.5 to 3 hours drive to Etang Du Manoir, where we're going to be fishing 6 nights and making a video for the Carp girls, and also obviously I'm going to make my own video, so stay tuned for that. Remember to subscribe to the channel to see my upcoming videos, and yeah, I'll catch up with you when we get to the lake. Hello and welcome to Etang Du Manoir in France. If you'd seen my last video where I was at Bearfield Blue Pool, I told you that straight after that trip I was driving down to Portsmouth and meeting my mate and grabbing a ferry over to France, and then we've got 6 days at this beautiful, stunning venue. This week hopefully we'll have some fish to show you along the way, and we're going to be showing you around this absolutely stunning venue. So yeah, we got here yesterday afternoon, had a good walk around, and we met up with Elaine and Debbie, who we're fishing with this week, and they told us the lowdown. They'd been here since Saturday, and they'd actually managed a 49 pound mirror on the first night, and then they managed a low 20 yesterday when we arrived. So you know, a good start, a couple of fish in the first sort of 24 hours, and yeah, they walked us around the lake and sort of told us all the spots and everything, and then we settled into our swims. So I'm with my mate Jamie. He's in swim 8, which is down that way in the corner, and I'm in swim 9 called the All Alone, and we've got an island out in front, loads of sort of snaggy features along there to fish to, and also I'm on kind of a bit of a spit that comes out into the lake, and there's features all along my sort of near margin as well, and it's all kind of bait boat fishing up to these sort of snags and overhangs and things, but we're going to talk about that later. But yeah, got 3 rods out last night, just fished for a bite really, didn't put a lot of bait out, and we've had a quiet night, but you know, it's very early on in the session, so yeah, let's see what this week brings. Welcome back to the video. So I just wanted to give you a little update of where we're up to now. So we've currently been here about 24 hours, so it's Monday sort of late afternoon, early evening now, and today I've just kind of wound in this morning after I thought bite time was over, you know, sort of late morning really, and finally went and had a shower. I haven't managed to have a shower since before I came away because just been travelling and filming, doing loads of stuff, so yeah, I haven't really got around to it. So yeah, it was quite nice. Go have a shower, and then I went and talked to Elaine and Debbie over the other side, and we were just talking about planning their video that we're doing on this trip. So we spent a good couple of hours just chatting about that and how we're going to work together to get some really good footage. So that's quite exciting. I haven't really fished very much today because I've just been talking to them, and I also went round and filmed a little rig section with them for their video as well, so I've just been doing that. So my fishing's had to take a bit of a back seat, but after I'd been around and chatted to them earlier, I did go out in the boat and just check my spots, you know, and just have a bit of a prod around with the oar, see what the bottom feels like. And I'm fairly happy that where I was fishing last night has some good spots, you know. So at some point tomorrow I'll probably run you through my spots and sort of talk to you about why I've chosen to fish where I am. And also tomorrow I'll probably, if I get time, I'll run through the rigs that I'm using. I'd quite like to get a fish to sort of make sure the rigs are being successful, because there's no point showing you a rig if I'm not catching anything with it. So I might wait until I catch a fish, but if I've got time tomorrow I'll probably show you my rigs anyway. And also I'm going to have a bit of a walk around the lake, so I'll show you, you know, what the place looks like, and we'll have a walk around inside the lodge as well. Got really nice facilities here, so we'll do that tomorrow as well. But for this evening, got my three rods back out on the same spots I was fishing last night, and I've just baited very lightly because we haven't had any action, you know, so I don't think the bait's gone that I put in last night, and that, you know, that's probably still there. So I've just put a tiny bit of bait just to make sure there's a bit of fresh smell around the hook baits, and that's it really. Just fishing for a bite again, and hopefully the fish become a bit more active, because they've been pretty quiet the last 24 hours. I've seen the odd one cruising around on the surface today, but no bites for anyone on the lake for 24 hours now. So yeah, we're hoping they're going to wake up this evening or sometime through the night. So obviously we'll show you if we have any fish, but if not, I'll be giving you an update in the morning, and then maybe we'll go for a walk around the lake. So firstly, my left hand rod is going over under the canopy, and it's in that little cubby hole there. This tree comes out quite far away from the island, but in there you can get back to the sort of island margin, and there's a bit of a shelf there, so I've got it up on the shelf in about 4 or 5 foot of water I think, and it drops down off the shelf into sort of 7 foot. So yeah, with these warmer conditions and this time of year, you really want to be up on that shelf, I think. And the next spot along, so from my middle rod there, going out to the other end of the island, just past that yellow bush and past the little snag in the water there, we're just in that cubby hole just there in the sort of centre of the screen now. And there you go, that's the middle rod, a spot that I was put on by John, one of the owners here, and it's a bit snaggy off to the right, so you've got to be really locked up on that spot. So if you do end up fishing that spot, make sure you're in your swim all the time, on your rods, and absolutely locked up so there's no way the fish can take any line. And if you do get a take, you need to be on it quick and then walk backwards to get the fish out of the snags. So my final rod, this right hander here, actually goes off down my right hand margin. I'm on kind of a little spit here out into the lake, and down the margin there under the trees someone's put a marker in a branch which marks a spot, and I went out on the boat and had a bit of a prod around, and it felt pretty clear there, and John the owner said that it does produce fish, so that's where my right hand rod's gone. And I put quite a lot of bait on that one just as an experiment. I put a whole bucket of bait, and then every time the rod's gone out I put like a whole hopper on the bait boat as well, so that's had quite a heavy baiting, and the other 2 spots have been fairly lightly baited, to be honest. Just trying different tactics to see if we can get a bite. Well, good morning guys. So it's Tuesday morning now. So that's 2 nights done, and we've still had no action. Starting to get a little bit worried, if I'm honest. I think the fish spawned last week, they said, and the owner's saying that potentially the fish are sort of resting up after that sort of vigorous activity. They needed a few days to settle down. We did see shows on sort of 3 of our spots last night. Me and my mate Jamie next door, he had a show over one of his rods, and I've had shows sort of near 2 of my rods, so I feel like I'm in the right areas. I'm definitely near the fish, and in the daytime I've seen one of the koi's swimming up and down very near to one of my rods, and it seems to really like that area, and I wouldn't mind catching that. So, you know, I feel like I'm doing all I can at the moment. I'm thinking potentially fishing zig rigs in the daytime might be the way to go, because I have seen fish cruising fairly near the surface in 7 foot of water, so there's no point fishing on the bottom if they're up on the top, obviously. So today the plan is wind in sort of late morning, and I'm going to have to go and do some filming for the Carp girls, Elaine and Debbie, because I'm obviously, like I said, I'm shooting their video this week. But I'll just turn the kettle off, sorry. Yeah, also I'm going to do some shots, some filming for you guys sort of walking around the lake, so that'd be nice. We'll have a bit of a tour around. I'll show you the lodge with the facilities and everything, so if you do decide, you know, you're going to come to this venue, you know what's on offer. It's a lovely place, and the stock is phenomenal. Apparently there's 460s now up to £65, and something like 30 50s in here, and it's only a 6 acre lake, so you know, if you want a chance for 50, this is probably the place to come. So yeah, like I said, I'll have a walk around. I'll show you the lake from different angles and things like that. Try and get some scenic shots for the Carp Girls video as well. And then perhaps later on I'll talk you through the rigs that I've been using. And yeah, we're gonna sort of, fingers crossed, and hope something happens. We've got plenty of time, you know, it's only Tuesday, we're not going till Saturday morning, so there's a good sort of 4 nights left or something. And the fish have got to feed at some point throughout the week. You know, they might be resting up, but they're going to be getting hungry. So as long as I stick to my spots, I think, and you know, just play the waiting game, we could have some luck. So I'm not going to get too downhearted yet. Although, you know, it's quite hard doing 2 nights with no fish when, you know, there's like so many big fish in here. But yeah, hopefully it'll be all that bit sweeter when we do have some luck. So yeah, stay tuned, guys. We'll be showing you around the lake in a bit, and then hopefully we're going to catch some carp later on. Right guys, as promised, I'm going to take you on a little tour around the lake. I'm going to film on my GoPro, so apologies if the sound isn't great, but I'll film a few lake shots on the proper camera and show you that as well. So yeah, this is my swim. This is swim 9, and you come out on this little causeway here. Hopefully you can see behind me, and it sort of cuts through there, and that's into Weedy Bay, which is over here. So I'll show you that swim a bit later. But yeah, swim 9 here. You've got all of the island margins, and yeah, it's got a nice few sort of features to fish to. And I've seen fish in this area, but they don't appear to be feeding at the moment. But I don't think I need to move, because I have seen fish. I think I'm going to be trying zigs today with the weather like it is, very bright and sunny. I'll probably try zigs and then go back on the bottom for tonight. So yeah, next I'm going to show you the lodge. This is the stock pond, guys. It's out of bounds, but I have seen a few fish showing in here, so I reckon the entrance to it over there where them lilies are might be a good spot if you're fishing Weedy Bay. But the Carp girls have had a rod there for a couple of nights, and nothing's really happened, so yeah, it is what it is. I think it's just tricky conditions at the moment. But here we go, this is the lodge, and you've got all your facilities in here. It's nice, it's actually floating on the water on some like big oil drums, I think, because their planning permission they couldn't build something on the side, on the bank, so they had to have it on the lake. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, we come in here and as you can see, pretty cool in here. You've got all the fish pictures on the wall. Loads of big fish. I think they go up to 64, 65 pound in here. And there's loads and loads of 50s. I think something like 30 odd 50s in here. So yeah, pretty decent. You got. Are you in there? I won't open the door then. You've got your cooker there and a sink for washing up your bits, and then the shower's in there, but I won't show you because Jamie's naked. Oh, look at the bottom half. That's the best half, isn't it? And yeah, look out the door there. You can see the lake, which is really nice. Good little, nice little balcony there if you want to have a beer. Right, we'll go take a look at Weedy Bay. Right guys, so we're in Weedy Bay now. I think this is swims 1 and 2 on the lake. As you can see, you've got big open expanse of water. Probably covers two acres in this area, I would think. Maybe 1.5 acres to 2 acres. You've got that sort of peninsula that sticks out into the lake there, and you can fish along there. Got the entrance into the little back stock pond, which is quite good, I think, where the lilies are. And then obviously out in the middle there's a few hard spots there which are worth fishing apparently. It used to be really weedy, hence the name Weedy Bay, but they've dyed the water now, so it's actually quite clear in here, so it makes nice easy fishing really. And you've got two swims here really. You could double up in here, which is what Elaine and Debbie did, but they've actually moved now around the other side of the lake, so you know, the fish weren't really in here anymore, so they've gone over to swim 5 to double up in there. But yeah, they were fishing either side in here, and they had one on the end margin there, and I think one to the peninsula, and then another sort of on the peninsula and one in the entrance to the back bay. But yeah, they had a couple of fish sort of Saturday and Sunday, and then it's been quiet for 2 days, so they've moved. So that's good angling, isn't it? Right, we'll move around and look at swim 3. Right guys, we're just coming into swim 3, I believe, this one. Lovely gravel swim they've just done fairly recently, and you've got a nice sort of step down there at the front to the water, and you can actually get down into there, put your bait boat in and everything, and obviously helps with landing fish and stuff, so that's really cool. I think they're working on getting all the swims up together a bit like this, and they're really getting there. You know, it's looking stunning, this lake now. So this is swim 3. You got this all here is like the end of the island you can fish to, and you've got the sort of left hand margin there, which that's the peninsula that comes out into the lake. You can fish all along there underneath the trees and stuff, and just over here is the sort of point of the end of that peninsula, where that's the entrance to Weedy Bay, and you've got this overhanging willow tree as well, which is probably a good spot, I imagine. Carp probably likes to hide underneath there. So yeah, nice bit of water here, plenty of features, and a really nicely made swim. So obviously next door to swim 3, you've got swim 4 here where the boat is. Another nice gravel swim, and you get the end of the island again here, so there's enough spots there for 3 rods along there. You have to obviously chat to whoever's in swim 3 and decide where they're putting their rods, but you've got some lilies and overhanging trees and things like that, and again you've got a nice step down there which helps with putting your bait boat in the water. So yeah, that's swim 4. Right guys, so this is swim 5 here, where Elaine and Debbie are just setting up. That's them just walking back to the van there. They're just still getting their stuff all sorted, but they've decided to move out of Weedy Bay because it's been quiet for a couple of nights now, and they've come into this lovely double swim. It's called swim 5, the doubles they call it, and you've got a massive expanse of open water out there, lots of options for rods, and a really nice gravelled swim, as you can see. Plenty of room for 2 anglers, that's why it's called the doubles obviously. But yeah, I think this is quite a popular swim on the lake, and it does produce quite a lot of fish. As you can hear, the frogs are pretty active at the moment. I think it's that time of year they're pairing up. Hopefully you can hear what I'm saying. But yeah, this is swim 5, the doubles. I think you'll agree it's looking absolutely stunning out there. So we'll move around the lake into, I'll show you no carp corner, which I think is swim 6. Yeah, I thought I'd just mention there's actually a toilet there, so if you're fishing swim 5 or 6, or probably swim 4 and 3 as well, this is your nearest toilet, so you don't have to go all the way back round to the other side of the lake where the toilets are, near Weedy Bay and the lodge. So yeah, that's handy if you're this side of the lake. Right guys, so this is swim number 6. It says no carp bay on the sign, no carp corner, no carp bay, and don't be fooled by the name. Apparently a lot of fish do get in this corner, you know, around the sort of tree line margins there, and also down this margin here, fish patrol along there and sort of come into this corner, so it can be quite a good swim actually, apparently. And it's nice and sort of out the way if that's your sort of thing. You know, you can have a bit of a relax in this swim, and you get a beautiful view of the lake, as you can see behind me here. Right guys, the GoPro's packed up there. I think it's either full or the batteries run out or whatever, but we're on the big camera now, so hopefully this footage is alright. But yeah, this is swim number 7 now. As you can see, another nice swim, wood chip there, and steps down to the water so you can get your bait boat in and out, and easier for landing fish and stuff. I think this is called the Moles, this one, swim number 7. And apparently the best spots in here really is sort of the open water quite close in, so 20-30 yards out. You just want to pick a spot, get a bit of bait there, and a bit of a line of bait with your rods on it, and the fish do come through here and pick up baits. So it's definitely worth taking the owner's advice. If you speak to John or Jason when you get here, they'll put you right on some spots. And yeah, that's what they said about this swim, is to fish fairly close in under your rod tips almost. So yeah, that's swim number 7, the Moles. Right guys, we've come round into swim 8 now. This is my mate Jamie's swim. You can see his bivvy there. And this is right back round the lake again, next to my swim, swim 9. So this is a brilliant swim, I think, as well. You've got the end of the island over here that you can fish to. You've got the margins along here, and also apparently the open water sort of between the island and the bank out in front of swim 7 can be quite good. So if no one's in swim 7, you can fish that area as well, and we have seen fish showing here. It can be a really productive swim. So yeah, this is swim 8. Right then guys, and this is kind of back to where we started then. If you look along there, that's the causeway out to my swim, that's swim 9. So we've been all the way around the lake now. A couple of other things it's worth saying to you. There's quite a lot of boats around the lake. So if you look in the margins just down here, you've got a little boat there. There's one in my swim, one in Weedy Bay, and they are sort of dotted around the lake. So those boats are for, you know, for you to use if you get a fish snagged, or if you want to go out and check what's on the bottom out there and things like that. So you know, if you do get a fish snagged, make sure you don't just pull for a break. You can go out in the boat and use that. And also there's life jackets dotted around, and I think there's some in the lodge as well, and they do insist that you use those for your own safety, obviously. But yeah, that's really cool. So that's a walk around the lake. I hope you've sort of enjoyed seeing all the different views of the lake. It's absolutely stunning, and yeah, I'm loving my trip really. It's a bit tricky on the fishing front at the moment, but John, one of the owners, is pretty confident that now the fish have had a couple of days rest, they should be sort of getting hungry again and coming back on the munch. So hopefully we're going to have some fish to show you in the next sort of 24 hours or so. I'll obviously keep you updated. Stay tuned, guys. I'm absolutely working my nuts off trying to find fish for you, so we've got something to show you when we're out here. There's plenty of fish in here, up to 65 pound, and 30 or so 50s in here. So yeah, I'm just hoping that one of them fancies eating a bit of my bait later on. So yeah, stay tuned and we'll catch you a little bit later on. Well guys, it's now Tuesday evening, so we've been here sort of 48 hours now, and we've still not really had any luck, I'm afraid. I think just because it spawned last week, the owners are saying the fish might be resting up, and then hopefully later in the week they'll get on the food. So we're just sticking with what we're doing, keep a little bit of bait trickling in, and staying confident and everything. We've had zigs out a bit today because the fish have been cruising. It's been quite hot today, sort of 23 degrees. The fish have just been cruising a little bit, and I've seen some of the kois. There's like 5 koi carp in here, the sort of orangey ones, and I've seen them cruising around sort of near my island margin. So I've had zigs out, just under the surface, and that didn't really pay off. But I've also been very busy filming with the Carp girls today, Elaine and Debbie, making a video for them. So yeah, just coming into the evening, as I said, I've got my rods back out again. Same tactics as I've been doing. I said I was going to show you my rigs today, but I haven't really had time, so I'll probably do that tomorrow, and maybe we'll look at the bait mix as well. But for now, I've got my beer on the go. Hopefully my mate Jamie's going to come round in a minute, bring a few more beers, and we'll have a bit of a social. And tomorrow, I think I'm having a day off filming with the Carp girls, so maybe I could talk to you guys a little bit more, which would be quite good. And hopefully we'll have some fish to show you, but at the moment they're playing hardball. The Carp girls have actually moved out of Weedy Bay, where they were behind me, and gone round into swim 5, the big double swim over there. So Weedy Bay is now empty, so if I see anything showing in there, I can flick a rod out from the back of my swim, because you're allowed to do that on here, because I'm kind of on a bit of a spit, a bit of a point, so you can fish both sides of it. So if I do see anything showing, I'll be sure to move a rod there, now that the girls have moved out and sort of dropped the pressure in that area. But if not, I'm just going to stick to my guns and hope it all comes together. So yeah, stay tuned. Tomorrow we'll be showing you rigs and bait, and yeah, any fish that come along, obviously we'll show you them too. Morning guys, and it's Wednesday morning. It's absolutely stunning morning this morning. There's mist rising off the lake, nice sunrise, and we've got clear skies, so it's going to be another warm day, I think. A bit like yesterday. I think the fish are going to be up in the layers and cruising around, so I'm probably going to be trying zig rig again, see if I can get any luck on that. I actually stuck a 4th rod out last night. John, one of the owners, was here, had a little social with us in the swim, and he said, why don't you stick another rod in this weedy bay behind me, because the Carp girls have moved out, and we had seen a couple of fish. So he very kindly lent me one of his buzzers, and I put my 4th rod out in the middle there where I'd seen a couple of fish showing, and that's actually just beaked. But yeah, probably just a liner, although there is a fish showing in the middle there, so yeah, that could be a good sign, but we'll see. So yeah, today I'm going to be running you through the rigs that I'm using for this session, and also, if I get a chance, I'm going to show you my bait bucket and what's inside, and how I sort of mix it all up. And you know, I may be struggling on this session, but believe me, this does work. I think it's just down to the conditions that we've had really, and the bad timing with the spawning last week. But you know, you can make all the excuses in the world, but I'm going to be doing my absolute best to catch one for you. So yeah, stay tuned, guys. I'm just going to sit and wait for my nice breakfast now. They bring it to you when you swim here if you go for the food package, so that's pretty awesome. And yeah, we'll see you soon. Well, we've come down to the far end of the lake, well, the sort of margin of Weedy Bay, just to do a bit of stalking because we're getting pretty desperate in our swims. Sorry, me and Jamie have come down. He's just behind me over there. This is the Carp girls' van. It's pretty fancy. It's got a couple of nice carp painted on it. Hopefully you can see that. But yeah, yeah, I've just put one rod out just near some lilies in this channel between the end of the peninsula and the margin. And it was weird. I put the rod out and I was sort of putting it on the rest, and I saw the line pick up and start to come round to the right as if I'd had a take, you know. So I picked it up, but there was nothing there. Now there's quite a lot of small little fish in here, like roach and stuff. I don't know whether one of those had just swam into the line or what, I don't know, but I saw a fish show off the back of this peninsula, so you know, it's promising, so we'll see what happens. Alright then, so we're coming to the evening on Wednesday night now, so we're well over halfway into the week. And yeah, we still haven't actually managed to fish yet. We've been speaking to the owners, John and Jason, and I think I've said earlier, but the fish spawned last week, you know, and they're resting up after that sort of battering they've taken whilst doing that, and they're being a bit cagey, not really taking bait at the moment. They fish really well before spawning, and usually after spawning fishes well, but it's probably going to be next week now. We might just miss it, but they do think that the fish will come on the feed whilst we're here, so we've got to stick to what we're doing and hope for the best really. So today I've not done a lot of filming for the Carp girls, so that's good, you know. I've managed to get the rods out a little bit longer today and fished a bit harder, and still haven't had any luck, unfortunately. I've had my fourth rod in the Weedy Bay behind me fishing on a zig rig, which I made up myself, like a little zig bug, you know. Got a bit creative because I had plenty of time on my hands, and fished that literally just under the surface, about 4 or 5 inches under the surface where I'd seen fish cruising the previous day, in the area where they were as well, and you know, nothing happened on that. So me and Jamie, my mate who's come out with me in Swim 8, we decided to wind in earlier and went for a little stalking session around the end margin of Weedy Bay, and we did see fish actually. So I saw one show off the spit, which, you know, it's sort of just behind me here. You can see the spit, but it goes all the way along the other end of it where there's a channel between the margin and the end of the spit. I saw a fish show near there. There's a bit of a lily bed, so I put a rod out there, and Jamie put one sort of halfway along the margin, and as he was putting it out, a fish kind of swam in towards the margin and sort of drifted along. So, you know, we weren't far from the fish, and we didn't go crazy. We just put bags out, just hoping for a bite really. But yeah, the fish just aren't particularly having it this week, and you know, it's just the luck of the draw. You don't know when you book a week in France what the conditions are going to be like, and you know, what the fish have been up to before you've been there. And yeah, unluckily the sort of spawning seems to have unsettled them a bit, and the weather, you know, cold nights, hot days, has definitely unsettled them slightly as well. But we are hopeful. It's only Wednesday. We've still got all of Thursday and Thursday night, and all of Friday and Friday night as well. So you know, there's plenty of time. We could have a few fish yet. We just don't know. And speaking to Jason, he's looked at our bait mixes and rigs and everything, and he says, you know, everything we're doing is absolutely spot on. And it's just a matter of sticking with it and hoping that the fish play ball. So we had a lovely barbecue this evening. We finished our little stalking session, and Kim, who is Jason's other half, did a fantastic barbecue for us, which is sort of part of the food package. You know, if you pay for your food whilst you're here, they look after you and do try and get a barbecue in if the weather allows. we had, you know, burgers, sausages and steaks and all sorts of things, potato salad, coleslaw, that sort of stuff. Really lovely. And we met, you know, everyone together. We got Elaine and Debbie round, me and Jamie, and then like Jason and John, the owners, and Kim obviously, and even Jason's mum was over from England visiting, so we got to meet her. She's really nice. And yeah, we had a nice little chat and some amazing stories of Jason's fishing. I didn't realise quite what he'd done in the past, but yeah, really interesting bloke and really nice person as well. And you know, everyone that we've met while we've been here has been really nice, so that's great, you know. And Jason's agreed to come and chat tomorrow morning with you guys, so we're going to sort of have a little interview with him and speak a bit more about the lake and the stock and, you know, that sort of thing. So I'm looking forward to having a chat with him, so you guys can kind of, you know, hear a bit more about the lake. So that'll be really interesting. And also, hopefully we'll finally get round to showing you the rigs and things, particularly if we have a fish as well. You know, I really want to show you what I've been doing to catch a fish, hopefully. Fingers crossed, as always. But yeah, just loving it here. You know, it's absolutely gorgeous. The sun's been out, been baking hot. It's like, you know, 23, 24 degrees in the day, which is absolutely nice, but not great for the fishing. But you know, I'm really enjoying being here all the same. Little bleep on the left hand rod there, so I better keep an eye on that. But yeah, yeah, we're just going to chill out this evening. Me and Jamie probably going to have a couple of drinks and a bit of a social, as we have been doing, and hope that something happens. You know, that's all we can do. I hope you appreciate that we are trying our best. And yeah, fingers crossed that we've got enough time left to pull it around and catch a few big fish for you to see on camera. So as promised, this is the man himself, Mr. Jason Webb, one of the owners here at Etang Du Manoir. Just wanted to say, mate, thanks very much for having us out here.
Oh, no problem, mate, no problem at all.
You know, lovely lake.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we've had a tough week, haven't we, with the conditions and everything.
Fish have spawned as well last week, so
yeah,
it seems like it's slowed up for this week.
It's a funny time of year, you can never really tell what's going to happen. But
can
you tell us a little bit about the lake, you know, sort of how big is it, how many
it's
people
6.5 acres in size. The depth's probably the same all the way through. Carp just jumped out in your swim.
Oh, nice.
It's probably the same depth near on all the way through, which is probably just over 2 metres. When the water level's up, you get about 8 foot across the whole body of the lake. Obviously the water can drop through the summer 2 foot, so depends what the canal's doing, because the canal floods into, well, feeds the lake, so if the canal goes down, then obviously the lake goes down with it. So
and what's the sort of bottom like? Is it kind of clay?
It's mainly gravelly. It depends on what swims you're in. Weedy Bay's a bit more, there's a bit more clay, a bit more silt in there, but there is silt pockets out in the main body. Obviously around the islands you have to fish close to the islands. There's like a shelf this side of the island, and on the other side, in the main side of the lake, there's no shelf that side, but you fish right up tight to it, within 2 foot off of the island. But there is gravel bars, lily pads, you know, there's open water.
Most of the weed's gone now as well, hasn't it?
Yeah, we did have a lot of weed in the lake, but I think it's come to the end of its cycle.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's made the fishing a little bit hard as well, you know, this year, because they haven't got the weed to sort of just sit in and, you know, feel safe in.
Yeah, so they're tucking away in the corners and under the trees and stuff instead. Yeah.
And also that we've dyed the water this year as well, so you know, it's new to the fish as well, so I think that might have slowed the fishing down a little bit for this year. Right, but obviously the fish are still coming out. It's just
yeah. I mean, we were watching on the Facebook feeds, you know, a few weeks before we're due to come, it was like, whoa, 50
fish
pounds,
after
60
fish, yeah,
pounds,
new
50
50s, new 60s,
and
yeah,
all of us
great.
were messaging each other saying, oh, it's going to be brilliant, you know, and then I think the conditions just suddenly went warmer.
Changed,
the fish spawned, and it's really changed things, hasn't it? So,
I mean, we've had years where the fish have spawned in April, and within 24 hours, you know, the fish have just gone mental and you know, going crazy. And I think that week there was something like 46 fish out for the week, you know, with 5 anglers.
Yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
It destroys me when I have customers on and, you know, to see the lake fishing slow when I know what it can actually do, you know, because there's a lot of fish in here, you know.
I mean, what is the stock like then, do you know roughly?
Obviously when we bought it there was stock in here, so, you know, to have it netted as well properly, you know, it's hard work because of the island, so we're never going to know the exact amount, but we say anything between 150 to 170 fish.
Right.
So there's a pretty good stock.
And the current sort of biggest?
We've got, at the moment, we've got 4 different 60s, which I'm very, very happy about, because, you know, a year back there was no 60s and no fish that were looking like they were going to do 60.
Right, yeah. And you said 65, did you, the biggest?
Lumpy's come out at the biggest so far this year at 65 pound an ounces. Taffy's come out with a lady called Lynn caught it. And that come out, mega, and I'm so happy for her as well.
Yeah,
you know,
amazing.
just to see her face with the shots.
Makes it all worthwhile.
And it was 64 pounds, so you know. So I've got 2 upper 60s, well mid 60s.
Yeah, they won't be long before they're
and then there's
70, will it?
there's a scraper 60 pound 5 ounces, a fish called Dyson. That's put on mega weight as well, and another one which we've named Free Scales.
Okay.
That hasn't been out. It come out at 59.8 in November.
Okay. Yeah.
So it hasn't come out at 60, but we,
you know,
with all the fish that the weights that gains and everything, you know, it's a 60 all day long. So it's 59.8.
I think John was saying that some of the fish, well, the average fish puts on £5 to £6 a year, but you were saying some of them do 10 or more a year.
We've had, well, for instance, a koi that's done over £20.
Is that the sort of yellowy, whitey?
Yeah. One of the babies that we put in the stock pond. It's done over £20 in 2 years. You know, it's crazy.
I guess that just, you know, it shows you the fishery management's working. All the things you're doing, and
obviously the bait that's going in now. You know, when I bought the lake, there weren't many people fishing it. The fella that had it before, he had a building business as well, so you know, this was just something on the side for him. So you know, there wasn't a lot of bait going in here. But now, you know,
regular angling and
every week, and the fish are just banging on the weight.
And I suppose the netting that you've done, like you were telling me, getting the small fish out, that helps. It reduces the sort of biomass, doesn't it?
We netted the lake last year, and we took 700 kilo of silverfish out, and we haven't even touched the sides yet. We're netting it again this year, so obviously we'll be taking a lot more out again.
Brilliant.
We've got some new stock coming at the end of the year, 40 new fish. 30 of them are going in the stock pond, or 25-ish, and 10 or 15 are be coming back straight into the main lake.
And then you're going to grow those on till they're bigger. And
that's it. I'll probably leave them in there for a year or 2 years. I mean, they'll grow really quick in there with the bait going in every day. What the customers leave at the end of the week, I throw that in. So I'd say within a year, 2 years max, they'll be in the main lake, and you know, they'll be good weights. And
one thing I have noticed, actually, because I've watched a couple of the videos about this place already, I've noticed the swims have really been improved, and you've done a lot of work. Is that something that you're sort of continuing with?
We've done one side as a tryout with gravel, because I didn't know.
It's posh, isn't it? Over there?
It does look posh. I mean, obviously the bark mulch is great, but you've got to top it up a couple of times a year.
It rots down.
It rots down, and it can be pretty messy, you know, through the winter. So, and I do have anglers come out in the winter now as well, and I have French on as well. And to walk around the banks, it's really muddy. So we've gravelled that side, and we are going to carry on all the way around the lake. So you know, and this is all happening at the end of this year.
It's nice to see, actually, that you're not just, you haven't just bought a lake and left it and expected people to come.
No,
You're actually trying to put something into it, which is really nice.
I love my fishing. I've always loved my fishing.
Yeah.
It's something I've always wanted to do. It's a dream for me.
Yeah.
I've been very lucky that my wife's wanted to share my dream as well and move out
she's
here.
obviously very understanding.
Obviously my business partner John as well.
Yeah.
So everything I do is for the lake. In the winter,
Yeah.
I'm here every day, all day working. Just doing bits and bobs. So
Yeah.
it is my dream. I love my lake and I love fishing. So it's
you were telling me last night we had a really nice barbecue actually, because we've paid for the food package here, and Jason's wife did the food. It was absolutely amazing.
And we're all still alive.
Yeah. But we had a conversation about Jason, sort of where he comes from and his angling background and how he sort of came to be here. Could you perhaps talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, my first days of fishing really, I started off on Farlows. I was a Farlows boy.
Yeah.
And down in the Colne Valley.
Yeah.
I become a bailiff on there. I started fishing their other lakes. I was on there for I don't know, 20 odd years.
Right, yeah. So you met a lot of people.
Yeah, met a lot of people on Farlows,
Yeah.
a lot of good mates as well, and still are good mates.
Yeah.
I moved on from there and I went on to Horton Complex near Heathrow Airport.
Very famous.
Yeah, in Wraysbury.
Yeah, of course.
Fished K1 to start off with, done really well on K1, had some 40s out of there.
Nice.
And then I got offered to go over onto the Island Lake to be a deputy head bailiff.
Okay.
So I moved on to the Island Lake and that was like heaven for me, fishing off the island, using a boat.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot more work involved on the island. It was 55 acres,
Yeah.
using the echo sounders,
Right.
the scope, finding the
Quite
spot.
technical fishing, yeah.
Yeah.
Not like the sort of commercial
I
carping these
learned
days.
a hell of a lot from that.
Yeah.
And it's brought me to what I am now. I love my fishing and I go all the time. As much as I possibly can.
You were
But
telling me about the Jason does a lot of fishing in the big lakes here in France, I guess, to sort of get away from the busyness of your own place, I suppose. You
Yeah.
kind of go and he's saying about a platform that he fishes off, which is something quite new to me. I've never really seen that.
It's quite new to me as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've went back again with the fishing back at home. I outfished myself back at home.
Yeah.
I was turning up at lakes and I had all the intentions of going and getting the rods out and fishing, but when I actually turned up, I sort of lost my mojo.
Yeah.
So I needed something else in my life, and talking to my missus, we always wanted to move abroad, and blah de blah, didn't want to move too far.
Yeah.
And coming over here and fishing in France, it's just it's just
so-
a new chapter.
yeah,
it's
so
like
different, isn't it? Yeah.
every lake I fish, every barrage I fish, every park lake I fish, it's a different type of fishing.
Yeah.
And it's brought me back to
I think you've just
enjoying
got
it again.
more scope for different sort of options here. Like, you've got so much more space, so many more
Yeah.
lakes and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
If you're in a condensed area, I mean, I know living on the Isle of Wight, we've got very few
Yeah.
waters and I'm
Yeah.
a bit trapped.
Yeah.
But I suppose where you were, you've got a few waters. Once you've fished them, where do you go after that?
Well, that's it.
I guess you've had all your big fish in the UK that you want. You want to go bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah,
So you've got to go
definitely.
abroad, haven't you? Really?
I've always, for years, I was coming out here fishing. Coming out on trips. 2, maybe 3 times if I was lucky. Come out and do a week on private lakes.
Yeah.
And just the buzz of coming out and being in France, just being in the coach, travelling through France, I loved every minute of it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
it was a big thing for me, and it's something that I've always wanted to do, but I was paranoid about driving over it. It was just
Same as Jamie, actually.
it was just one of them that always, it ate into me, and it was like, and then when I actually done it, I kicked myself up the arse and thought, why didn't you do this a long time ago? So to actually do it now, I'm just happy. I'm doing what I love now.
So
talking to anglers, having anglers on.
It's an important point if anyone's sort of a bit apprehensive about coming away. Me and my mate Jamie have realised how easy it is to get to Etang Du Manoir. I mean, we got the ferry over 3 hours, just nice and relaxed, had a bit of food, a cup of coffee and a chat, and before we knew it we were in France.
Yeah.
And then the roads down here, it was a straight road for like 70 miles, and then we turned off and then it was another straight road, and we got here in another 3 hours.
Yeah.
But
I mean, there's probably about 4, maybe 5, 5 different ferry ports you can come from.
yeah,
The closest one to us is actually Portsmouth to St Malo.
right, yeah.
It's an overnight, which is a 12-hour, so you can get your head down, get a cabin on the ferry, get your head down,
Yeah.
and then you've only got an hour and 25-minute drive But then as you start going back towards Calais, obviously it's a little bit more of a drive, but you can go Portsmouth to Caen, which is a 3-hour drive.
Yeah.
Portsmouth to Le Havre, which is 3.5-hour drive.
Right.
You can go New Haven to Dieppe.
That's what the girls did, isn't it?
I think that's around 4-hour drive, something like that. So there's many of options.
And it's
or
not
obviously,
that far from anywhere, is it really?
if you've done the Calais, I mean, if you like your driving and you go from Calais, you can do it in 5.5 hours. If you have a little break, 6 hours max. So it's not the end of the world, but
it's nice. And
you're coming down fishing for big fish.
Far. Exactly. Yeah. If you're here for a week, you don't mind a few hours of driving. So sort of on to finish off, really, what do people do when they want to book the lake? Have you got a website, or do they? Is there a number?
We have got a website, but it's not something that we update the website. It's just a fixed page.
Yeah.
But if you do go onto the website, up on the top right-hand corner is the Facebook page.
Yeah.
Click onto the Facebook page. Obviously, we're on Instagram, Twitter as well.
Yeah.
But the Facebook page is updated daily.
There's a lot of stuff going on there.
Yeah.
And it's
daily. And so we update that. So if you want, you can get through us from that, or you can email us, or there's different ways you can get through to us.
And then what's the sort of maximum number of people you allow on the lake?
The max amount of people on the lake is 6 anglers.
Right, okay.
It fishes really well with 6 anglers on when it's fishing well.
Because it sort of spreads the fish out.
The fish have got nowhere to hide. So if you're coming out and there's sort of just say a group of 3 or 4, sometimes it can be difficult because the fish, they're wise fish, they're big fish.
Yeah.
They've been fished for really hard now. They've seen everything.
Yeah.
They don't like lines. They spook off the lines. You'll catch them on any rigs, but they just spook off the lines and they try and find where there's no pressure. I mean, I watch the fish day in, day out.
Yeah.
And wherever there's not a rod, that's where the fish will be.
Yeah, we found that because Elaine and Debbie started in Weedy Bay, and they had a couple the first night, didn't they? But then
there was a lot of fish in there at that time.
So they moved out, and now I've been seeing fish showing in there. Yeah. And I've actually had a rod in there, but they've been a bit cagey. So sort of the last thing I want to ask then really is anyone who's thinking of coming out, what sort of tactics and
bait-wise, I would say, with boilie, anything about 15 kilo per head.
Yeah.
They love the pellet.
Yeah.
So 10 kilo a pellet, 15 kilo a pellet.
Right.
And also they love sweet corn, maize and stuff like that. Spod mixes.
Yeah.
And
it all works really.
It all works. They love the pellet.
Yeah.
Obviously I'll feed them the pellet, maize through the winter as well.
Right,
but the tactics sort of thing, most people are coming on obviously using the Ronnie rig.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think the Ronnie rig, the fish are seeing it all the time. They're coming in, they're mouthing the bait, feeling around the bait, and they know that hook's there. So sometimes just dropping the hook and getting the hook on the bottom of the, on the bed, using a snowman. 95% of my fish, we'll say 90% of my fish, have all come on a snowman rig, an 18mm bottom bait with like a 12, 15mm.
Right, yeah, so quite a big bait really then.
Yeah. On the first days of having it, me and John, we used to go and fish the Park Lakes and we was using double 25mm boilies.
Really, yeah.
And then we come on here still with the same rig, two double 25mm boilies and we're catching. So.
Oh, well, maybe that's where I'm going wrong. I'm fishing pretty small baits because I'm sort of still in UK mode, I suppose. But I might try tonight, maybe a bigger.
Yeah, put a little bit of a bigger bait on.
Yeah, I've got some 20mm and some 50mm pop-ups, so that'd work.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, all I normally do, I normally just whittle a little bit off the side, flatten one corner, and the same on the pop-up, so it sits nicely.
Yeah, okay.
And then, I say most of my fish come out like that. But I mean, the zigs do work. It's not something that they crawl up, but they do work. You know, people have caught on them. I've lost on zigs. John's lost one.
If it's hot like this, then it's worth a go.
It is worth a go, but they don't crawl up the rods on the zigs. Most of the fish do come out from the bottom. Well, 95% of the fish come from the bottom,
And then is there any sort of particular rules that people need to be aware of? I know it's fairly sort of relaxed, isn't it? But
yeah, I mean we are pretty good, but obviously no shock leaders, no leg core really. There's no need for the shock leaders, The snags aren't snags. They're just sort of up on, just sitting under the water. It depends what the level is of the water. So there's no real reason to use shock leaders. We normally say anything 18-pound line minimum. 20-pound line. 4 to a 5 ounce lead. They got big mouths. You need to hone that hook in because they will throw it. They're clever fish.
Right. Okay.
So I normally use anything from a size 4 microbarbed hook, obviously. and a size 4 or size 2.
Right.
Normally a size 2,
Yeah.
and I just put a little O-ring down the shank of the hook and use it as a blowback rig that way.
Right,
so
yeah, that's pretty much how I've been fishing, but my hooks are a little bit, I think I've got size 5, so it's all right. It's not a massive hook, but it's big enough.
But you know, I've had so many people turn up, you know, with 3-ounce leads. You know, I'm not saying that they ain't going to catch, and some of them do, but quite a lot of people, obviously I see it all the time, the fish are just throwing a 3-ounce lead.
Really, right.
You know, and it's not homing the hook in properly.
Okay.
You know, the mouths on the fish are quite tough as well, so you do need a heavy lead just to home that lead in.
Okay then. Well, brilliant. Thanks for that, mate.
Oh, no problem at all. I'm just hoping, you know.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, it's been one of them weeks.
Let's have one fish for the camera.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll do our best, mate.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Awesome. All right. Well, I hope that was interesting for everyone watching. And yeah, amazing place.
And hopefully, I look forward to seeing you all at some time on the bank.
Yeah, awesome. All right. Cheers, mate.
No worries.
Nice
Thank
one.
you.
Cool.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we've come to Thursday evening now, and still we're struggling for bites, but things are looking up because around about 11:30 this morning before lunchtime, Elaine Taylor over the other side has managed an absolute lovely looking 45-pound mirror, so that's a real result because none of us have caught since we've been here because the fish have been so cagey, you know, and for her to have one is kind of a really positive sign that things might be switching back on again. I don't know if you can hear behind me, but we've had the aerators turned on today, and we all decided that possibly, you know, the fish needed a bit more oxygen because it had been, you know, so hot and they were sort of worn out from spawning and all that, and you always need a bit of oxygen in the water to sort of help them recover, I think. And within sort of 15 minutes of turning on the aerators, Elaine had that fish, so you know, it's crazy really, and we've all decided that, you know, we'll pay to have them on because we have to turn the generator on for the aerators to work, and you have to pay for that because it costs quite a lot of money for the diesel to run it. So the bonus of that is that we've now got power in our swims as well, so we can charge our bait boats and everything whilst we're fishing. It's not very expensive. Well, it's like sort of £3 for an hour or something like that, so, or €3 I should say. So yeah, we've had the aerators on a bit today, and we'll probably keep them on a bit tomorrow, and hopefully they'll get enough oxygen into the water that the fish get a lot more active, and that could really spur things on. But also, you can see behind me, it's quite cloudy now, which we haven't had for the last sort of 3 days. It's been really clear, so the nights have been cold. But with this sort of more overcast, it's a little bit more of a ripple on the water as well. It might just be the changing conditions that we needed, and we might switch things on. So I'm still hopeful of a fish or two before we go. So it's Thursday night, so we've got 2 more nights to go, Thursday night and Friday night, and then we're leaving on Saturday morning. I've had a bit of a tactical change today. Instead of fishing my sort of standard boilie tactics, I've actually taken out all the sort of bigger particles out of my bait mix and broken down, like crumbed up all the boilies that are in there, and I'm just fishing a load of sweet corn because apparently they love sweet corn in here. We had some big catering size tins, so I've put, you know, whole 2 of those in my bucket, a load of the Richworth pellets, the mini mix ones, and the S4 pellets, and then a few tiger nuts in there, and a bit of the S4 serum over the top, well, half a bottle actually, and it's just a mix of smaller particles because if they're being a bit picky, I think sometimes it pays to scale down. And then for hook baits, I'm just using a tiger nut tipped with a bit of fake corn. I think one of them's got half a pineapple pop-up on top of it, just to be a bit of yellow, you know, like the corn that's in the mix. And it's quite a nice sort of wet mix with the liquid out the corn. I think I put some chickpeas in as well because I had a couple of tins of chickpeas and they've got liquid in, so that'll break the pellets down into more of a mush and make a bit of a cloud, and a bit different to the sort of dry, boiling pellet mix that I've been using, and hopefully that's just enough to pull them down, you know, and it'll cloud up and kind of stimulate them to feed, hopefully. So we'll see. You know, you can't do more than that. Hopefully you enjoyed the little chat with Jason we had this morning. I honestly can't tell you how nice they are. You know, both Kim and Jason and John, who works here as well, they're so friendly and sociable, and they come and chat to you, and they're really keen to help you catch fish, you know. And as we've been struggling, they've sort of been giving us all of the advice, you know, and we've basically been doing it all right anyway. You know, they've looked at what we're doing and they said it's not down to us really, it's just the fish are being a bit funny. So we just need to pray that a slight change of tactics and a slight change of conditions helps us to bag a fish before we go. So stay tuned, guys. I know it's probably not that fun for you watching no fish coming out on a fishing video such as this, but at least you got to see a little bit about the lake and a potential venue if you do fancy coming to France. And you know, if we do catch something, I'll obviously run through the rig, the bait in more detail, and the sort of the spot where it's from and the kind of tactics that I've used to catch it. But I don't think there's any point in doing that until I've caught a fish, because you know, if it's not a successful tactic, then you don't need to know about it, basically. So yeah, we'll see, and we'll keep you posted. Tomorrow I'm going to be winding in, doing a bit of more filming for the Carp girls. Got to get a load of shots of them fishing, you know, for their video. But they've got that footage of that nice fish today that Elaine had, so I'm so glad we got that, and it should make their video really worth watching, you know. So look out on their channel, the Carp girls, and yeah, we'll see what happens and we'll keep you updated. Well guys, I wasn't going to do an update this evening, it's still Thursday evening, but look at this outside now. We've actually got a bit of a downpour going on, and it could just be the change of weather that we needed to bring the fish on the feed. It was forecast, but we weren't sure it was going to happen, but yeah, it is happening. So yeah, this could be what we need, so stay tuned. Hopefully we'll have a fish to show you in a minute, but I think it might pass over fairly quick, so we can get back to chilling out. But yeah, this might just bring the fish on the munch, so watch this space. Right guys, this is mental. Last morning, literally probably 3 hours till we have to pack up and leave. It's just getting light. Have a look, beautiful morning. But look at this. I can't believe you couldn't have written this any better. So about 4:45, middle rod is ripped off. We've got a mid 30 in there, 35-12. That was the middle rod out to the island, and then down here is something, if you can see there, a little bit more special. I need to get some bigger scales from Elaine and Debbie over the other side, because mine only go up to £60. Right, here we go. Last morning at Etang Du Manoir. Had a really hard week this week. Fish spawning last week, which has put them on edge, I think. Plus lots of natural fly hatches and dragonfly hatches around the lake. I think has made them not really feed on bait. But the final morning really of the trip, we've managed a double take, and this fish is the first of them. Absolutely stunning looking, 35 £12 mirror. There we go. Absolutely buzzing with that one. Look at that fish, that's gorgeous. The mental thing is though, we've got one potentially a little bit bigger. So I'm just going to take some stills of this fish and then hopefully get some bigger scales off Elaine and Debbie, because mine only go up to 60 pounds. So yeah, you can imagine how big this other fish is. Right, so yeah, I'll just get some pictures and get this one back, and then I'll see you in a minute with the other one. Well guys, here we are. Last morning at Etang Du Manoir, absolutely stunning morning, mist on the lake, the sun's coming up. And as you've just seen me put back that 35-12 mirror, and I was just about to redo the rod, and then my other rod, which was behind me in Weedy Bay, has ripped off as well, and I'm actually fishing on the marker rod on that rod. So it was a bit of an interesting fight. But we've landed this absolute chunk of a French mirror. Cheers, mate. Is it taffy?
Taffy, yeah.
A fish known as taffy at 64 pounds 7 ounces.
64.7.
64.7. So if I can lift it up, I'm going to show it to you guys. Oh. There we go. Cheers. He's hard to hold. There we go. There we are. 65 pounds 7 ounces. No, sorry, 64 pounds 7 ounces. Fish known as taffy. And I'm just blown away. I don't know what to say really. We've struggled all week. 6 nights of blanking. Final morning, double take. And this is my new PB. 64 pounds 7. I'm gonna have to put it down. Oh, bloody hell. Well, what a way to end the session. I'm just packing up, as you can see. Just got a rush to get the ferry. We're running a bit late. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Sorry I've sort of missed out a bit of the filming bits. Kind of just, you know, as we've been struggling, didn't want to keep banging on about how I'm blanking and all that. So yeah, I just didn't do a lot. But I'm going to do another video after this one showing my tactics and bait, you know, just to show what I did to catch and talk about the spot and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed this video. Subscribe to the channel to see more future videos which I've got coming up. And yeah, thanks very much for watching. Give us a thumbs up if you've liked seeing that massive fish. Alright, I'll speak to you guys soon.